What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Well, welcome back to myself, apparently. What's going on, everyone? My name is Kelly Cavallero. I'm one half of 7 Arrow Media, and welcome to the Honky Tonk Highway. That's right. It's back. We're back. These are going to be happening a lot more frequently. Ironing out a somewhat of a regular schedule, trying to go back to at least weekly for now, guys. I know I've missed doing them. I know a lot of you have expressed that you missed having me on here. So we are back and already joined in by some friends, it looks like. My lovely wife is watching from work. She is still at the office. So hi, babe. Aurora's joined us. Vanessa's joined us. Britt's here. And Britt, tough break. Tough break the other night on your football game. Texans last second field goal. Ooh. I know you probably don't want to talk about it, but it was a great game. Great game. So yeah. Welcome back, everyone. So today we are going to talk about a bunch of different things. Little hodgepodge, as you saw. Mr. Carbs has joined us, Andy. Andrew. Lovely to see you, sir. I'll be seeing you here soon in a couple weeks. Just about 8, I think it is, roughly. Going over for the boots as we that's one of the topics today. Before we get into that, guys, don't forget, like, subscribe, share, follow Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. We're posting constantly. Follow us. Stay up to date. Also, I know some people have asked, yes, you can listen to this in a podcast version. I am going to be adding more shows up there. It's on Apple and Spotify. So go check that out. Also, I know I released a couple. I got more coming up. I at least got one more that I haven't released, and we're trying. Trust me, John and I are trying to record more controversial conversations. We have been both extremely busy. He's on the road. And as we start the day, speaking of Mr. Robinson, one of the things I want to talk about, huge shout out. Oh, as it doesn't want to let me. There we go. It was announced recently by Mr. Cosenza as well as John and Chris, new owners of Windy City Line Dance Mania, Mr. John Robinson and Mr. Chris John. Huge congrats out to them. I know they've been working tirelessly, getting a staff together, getting the hotel link up, getting the website live, getting Facebook, Instagram, all that nice jazz. So bear with them. I know you can go ahead and register. He does have the registration link up. So a couple more people joining us in as we talk about this. Mr. John Brass is here. Mr. Jonathan Sack is here. Paul James has joined us. So yeah, tons of stuff. Tons of stuff happening. So check out more info from them. Also coming up with Mr. Robinson, we did the first one. We're bringing you back Volume 2. That's right. We're doing Musicality U. This time it's Volume 2, all about choreography. John and I are going to be going through how we choose music, what we listen to for rhythms, breaking down, counting it, and we are going to be writing a dance with you guys live. So it's 2 days online. We're going to be right here at our house in Mobile, Alabama, January 14th and 15th. Bonus, one of those days is my birthday, so it is going to be a blast. So join us for that. You get 4 2-hour workshops as well as 2 1-hour Q&A sessions. You can head over to our website, 7arrowmedia.com, and check that out. Also, while we're on the topic, since it is one of the things we're going to be talking about, a lot of you I know are not going to be able to join us in Blackpool the end of January, but you can join us live, virtually, from the comfort of your home, from a bar, from a friend's house, wherever you want to go. Join us. Right now, the early bird price is only £23. January 31st, February 3rd. Join us live from Blackpool, England at the lovely Norbert Castle. You'll get the main ballroom, all the workshops, the dancing in there, as well as, the awards. My buddy Tim says, hey, bro, at class, but want to pop in and say, hey, give me the explosives. Little Fortnite reference. You know, Tim, when I saw you made your little post about making sure you get your nominations in, I almost wanted to see if we could write in Tim's Peach for Rising Star. Thought that would be good. Amy Gross has joined us. Let's see who else is popping in here. Tons and tons of people. So yeah, that's the nitty gritty. But now we got to get down to business. Oh, that's right. My wife just reminded me. All the proceeds from the virtual passes do go to the LDF. So last year we were able to make a really big, huge contribution to the Line Dance Foundation. Kelly and I are both ambassadors there. So every bit of money made of the profit gets thrown right back to the Line Dance Foundation and goes to helping our community. So it's definitely Paul, the lovely Norbert Castle. Kelly Babes, no one says it's lovely. Listen, I know. No one really eats there. We get it. And listen, some of the rooms still freak a lot of us out. We know. We get it. I was trying to think on the positive side. I get to come to England in January, Paul. I get to come see you. So, hey, it's worth it. As Jonathan Sachs says, no true words. So true. But so today we're talking a lot. We're going to be talking about event news, obviously. As we just brought up John and Chris taking over Windy City. In that same post that Mark made, he has announced Palm Springs. He's bringing the event back in 2026 in February. President's Day weekend, I believe it is. The lineup he has announced so far has looked amazing. Huge shout out to everyone that's currently in Vegas at the Vegas Dance Explosion. Hopefully y'all are having a good time. And remember, what happens in Vegas does not stay in Vegas. It ends up on Facebook and YouTube and TikTok. So just remember that when y'all are partying a little hard out there. Tons of announcements with events. Queen City announced their lineup. Queen City, of course, new event put on by Craig and Donna Stat, coming to Charlotte, North Carolina in February of 26 as well. Lots of stuff going on. Lots of events. Definitely lots of events coming up. It's getting a little busy. Definitely getting a little busy out there, guys. Because we still got Bliss coming up starting next year in August. Dustin and Sierra out there in Reno. So tons of options. Tons and tons of options. Jonathan says still no lineup for Windy City, though, that I have seen. I know he's starting to put some up on his website. I believe the website has gone live. I do know he has been trying to get responses out of instructors to make sure who is available. He is definitely working. Talked to him again this morning. He is working hard at confirming a staff as we speak, Mr. Sachs. So I know he is working nonstop, constantly on that. FXB next weekend. Put on my Mandy, Jen, and the Virginians out there. Dustin and Joey with Mary Kay as their DJ. It's a busy time for line dance, especially. Got tons of events, tons of options. It's going to be crazy. Obviously, we need to talk about the CBAs. Nominations are out, guys. I know you've seen them. We've all seen them. If you haven't, I don't know what rock you are living under in the line dance world. You got 4 more days. 4. That's right, 4 more days. February 17th, 11:59 p.m. on Sunday night UK time. The nominations will close. You will have no more time to nominate. Again, this is not the final list. This is just people nominated to get to the short list for the people categories. So this is not the short list. So all the names, and I'm going to be bringing up the link here to the survey here in just a moment before we can walk through this. This is not the final list. This is just who you think can make that final list, the short list as we all call it. I know Betty and Helen and the team are working very hard of bringing another great event for the 29th. 29th CBAs this year. Next year will be the 30th. As my wife just put in the comments, don't forget, if you haven't yet, the CBA has a new Facebook page. We put it together last year right after the boots. We figured it was time the CBA4LDF had its own page. Go like and follow it on Facebook, Crystal Boot Awards. That way you can see all the up-and-coming schedules and events going on. Paul James just asked, what is the people categories? So, Paul, the people categories, for those who don't know, it's all of the categories that are not dances. So you have like the Rising Star. You have Personality of the Year. You have Instructors of the Year, Choreographers of the Year, Digital Services, DJs, Artists. And we're going to see that. So it's all the people. All the awards that go to the people, not dances specific. So we're going to bring that up. I'm going to switch over. So when you click on the lovely link that has been put on Facebook, every place in their right mind as we try to put it, you're going to come to this. It's all ran off Survey Planet. So this will be the page you see. It'll say the Crystal Boot Awards 2024 people categories. One completed survey per person, device, IP address. You may move backwards and forwards, but once you press submit, your selection cannot be amended. That is very important, guys. That last page, when you hit submit, it's done. You can't go back any further. If you don't make selection on pages, do not hit that submit button. You will not be able to go back once you hit it. When you made your nomination, you'll be able to book your CBA weekend viewing pass at the special early bird price. Thank you for taking part. That's right. If you hang on right after you're done voting, if you just stay on that page, it says thank you for voting. It will redirect you to our website. That way you can go, and if you want and can't make it there, you can go ahead and purchase your right now at the early bird price. We'll be doing the early bird price up until the end of December. I believe it's around the 28th. When we'll go, and it goes up by £5. Full price is £28. Early bird price is £23. So I am going to switch my mouse because I have two computers running right now. If y'all can see my setup, I have iPad, phone, two computers, 3 screens, partridge, and a pear tree. So let's put in. Oop, might help if I type on the right keyboard. I get. Put in my email. And it's going to say begin. Just click begin. It's going to take you right into the voting. The first one comes up as DJ of the year. So let's talk about this. You're welcome to select up to 3 DJs, including your free text box. At the bottom of every page, if you scroll all the way down, it says if your choice is not listed, please use this text box you can collect, and you're able to do one. And that's it. One type in, and you can select from the list that they gave you. Jonathan just asks, as Cody Flowers has joined us, Mr. Flowers, Andy joined us, Todd, the Data Cowboys here. Jonathan Sachs says, why do they give suggestions? A lot of people are missing, and if people can't figure out who to vote for, then why are they voting? I agree with both those statements, Mr. Sack. I did ask Betty about this. And I know Betty posted on someone's comment about this because someone commented about it because people missing. Apparently, they did a survey of how people like to vote, and when they were left blank to just put in 3 names or a name, they could never remember names. So the numbers were down. Apparently, the numbers were lower for nominations. I definitely agree with you on this thing. On that, it's a little hard because you can't name everybody. There's a limit of how many names they are allowed to list. I don't know the exact number. The one big important thing, though, too, guys, and this is the big thing, make sure to read the top because she puts the previous winners that have up here that have reached the Outstanding Achievement Award, which that means they are no longer eligible. No longer eligible for that award. Yeah, John, face smack palm. I totally get it's a weird thing on that. I still, in my opinion, I've said this a couple times before. I always went with let's just let the people register for line dancer. Any members of Line Dancer Web. So, Paul says, buzzing so I can nominate whoever I want as an extra. Technically, yeah, you can. But make sure to pay attention not to the names that are on the Outstanding Achievement Award. So don't, like on the DJs, Dave Baycroft, Gary Lafferty, Michelle Reesley, they've won. They've hit their limit. They can't win again. Do not waste a write-in with writing in Dave, Gary, or Michelle, please, guys. All it does is give Betty a headache, because then she has to throw that vote gets thrown out. Lauren says, I would love it if there's a way to keep the votes within the line dance family. Friends family should not be allowed to vote. I've brought that up. I've said that a couple times, that I think the voting should be listed to people who are members of the Line Dancer Web, that vote on Line Dancer Web. If this is what the award is about, I've said that. That way it's done to the people already voting. I know a lot of people don't like voting on Line Dancer Web because your votes are seen, which I don't understand why it is. It's not like they're nuclear launch codes. You're just voting for a dance. I know I've suggested in the past putting in like list of DJs and artists and instructors and choreographers for people can keep voting on them all year long. And the top people who get the most votes of them all year long, run it just like you do the dances. And that way you can see really who are getting the votes all year. Todd says, would be great if it was like Facebook. As people add new names, they should appear for options for everyone. The problem with that one is, Todd, if you look at some of the polls people run on Facebook, no one knows how to spell. So you get 30 Gary O'Reillys with different spellings of O'Reilly, different spellings of Gary, O'Reilly without an apostrophe, and stuff like that. It's just like if you ever watch Dave Morgan's Teach the Week poll, you'll get dances repeated 5 times, and if he doesn't go back in and catch it and catch the repeats, you're going to see 47 different versions of one name. So, Paul, could you show me the personality? I'm getting there, Mr. James. I'm getting there. This is the first one that shows up. As you see, they listed on the DJ category a bunch of different options for DJs. Right. As my wife just said, Jose's name. Can you imagine someone trying to write in Jose Miguel Baloque Vanya? Could you imagine that? There ain't no one that's going to get it right except for Jose. I got good at writing it and saying it only because of my time with Streamline. Or as Amy Gross just said, 50 spellings of Hada Zabrodo. That's the only problem with that. And same thing with writing it in. I know we ran into this during COVID year when we did the awards online, and the award for digital stuff came in, and the Streamline. A lot of people couldn't remember that it was Streamline, so they'd write in either Daniel, JP, or Jose. They didn't write in Streamline. So if all 3 of those names get put down, they didn't get counted, which was rough. So tons of options. I always love to see American names on this list. So huge shout out to the names that did get listed, especially Mr. Potter, Miss Babinick, and I believe it might have been the only Americans listed. But a huge shout out to them. Always good to see some American names in that. Yeah, Jonathan Sachs says copy and paste. That's the problem. Or Paul Shed McHouse. Of course, you can write in the bottom. So that's the DJs. Next goes the Artist of the Year. I know this one is always a hard one for Americans to vote for. We don't have this over here. We don't have live acts. Very rare do we see live acts at our events. Nicole says, has a burrito. Right. Bunch of names listed on here. always, you have your write-in box. Just remember, Natalie Thurlow and Richard Palmer are not eligible, so don't waste your time writing in Natalie or Richard's name on an artist because they can't win. All they do is be a waste of a vote. Yeah, not even trying to pronounce that. How does the boomafu? Yeah, right. Todd said his write-in. It's Chris Gonzalez for DJ. Jim said I wrote in Picasso for artists. So that takes care of artists. Next, it goes into female personality of the year. Huge category always. People not eligible for this one: Miss Maggie Gallagher, Kate Sala, Madison. It's listed as Williams, but she is still going by Glover when it comes to dancing, and of course Rachel McEnany White. Paul said he'll come sing some songs for us. Thank you, Paul. Amy said JP had her vote. That's great. Some of the names here, we got Allison, Gudrun, Yvonne, Rebecca, Grace, Debbie and Lorraine, Heather, Michelle, Tina, Joe, Rosie, Bunga, Debbie, Rhea, Dee, Nikki, Natalie. I can keep going on this. Margaretha, Kim, wrote a lie, and of course the box at the bottom. So that is female personality. So we'll go on next, if I'm not mistaken, once my mouse decides to work again. Male personality of the year. Of course, names that cannot win this: Robbie McGowan Hickey, Craig Bennett, Rob Fowler, and Mr. Gary O'Reilly. This will be a hard category, I think. Tons of great and talented personalities on this list. Guillaume, Niels, JP, Daniel, Simon, Lee, Stephen Patterson, Colin, Fred, Roy, myself, don't ask me why, Jamie, Carl, Gregory, Shane, David Hoyne, Willie Brown, Mr. White Sox himself, Jose, Darren, John, Josh, and of course a write-in. Cody, I 100% agree with you on this. 100%. He says, I feel the personality is so tough. I 100% agree on that. That just with not even the write-in, which I can name you another 5 to 10 write-ins easily, which the one thing I really think that I wish there could be more than one write-in, especially for some of these categories. As Mr. Formasa, the Panda, has joined us. He says, good morning, y'all. Just stopping by to say hi. Just got to class. Got to get set up. Good morning to you over in Aussie country. Paul says, I can pick 3 quite easily from that lineup. Picking 3 from that lineup, yes, I could easily pick 3. It's choosing the 3 because Nick, you have an interest. Thanks. I know. I do have an interesting personality. As Todd said, need 8 votes for this category. It's a tough one. It is definitely a tough one. I feel like almost it would be, don't get me wrong. Hey, babe, I love you too, dear. It almost would be easier with only getting to have the 1 vote back. I almost wish sometimes we'd go back to the 1. Picking the 1 would probably, just picking 1 would be easier than picking 3. Because I know for a fact there's some categories I don't use the 3. I'll only pick the 1 or 2. Because that line between who would get the 3rd vote would definitely, and it doesn't rank them, which I feel is hard. So after personality gets into the fun ones, UK Instructor of the Year. Now, I still find this tough. Darren is listed. I understand he's from Wales, guys. But when do we draw that line? Love him to death. Definitely Definitely one of my favorite UK instructors. Just huge shout out people who are not eligible for this: Maggie Gallagher, Rob Fowler, Robbie McGowan Hickey, Rachel McEnany White, and the one and only Mr. Fred Whitehouse. Nicole, don't be mad at us. We just speak the truth. I'm not mad. Yeah, Tim, lots of hard decisions this year. So many good people. We are very lucky. We are very lucky. We are a very lucky industry when it comes to that. We do have plenty of talent. Definitely plenty of talent. So we moved from UK instructor to UK choreographer. Again, names that can't win. Same as before: Maggie, Rob, Robbie, Rachel, and the White House. Tons of names on this list as well for choreographers that have had great years. A great year. Now, the one thing that I have on this, and this is the way I've approached this, I vote this based on this year. I vote this based on this year from last October when they cut the dances off, end of October, beginning of November, to this year. Who's been the best for that year? I look back at the dances they've released for this year. I look at what they've done this year. Britt just says Darren would get a vote from me whether on the UK or US list, so it doesn't bother me, but it might bother if I were another UK choreographer, right? Paul. Tim, that's an on the fence answer. We want the grit, Johnson. Bring the heat. Bring the heat. This is the hard one, because if you look at the dances that are written this year, some of the best dances choreographed. Shane has had a great year. Shane has had an amazing year. Darren Bailey's had an amazing year. Reason to Live, one of the best dances out there right now. I'm very lucky enough in competition to get to dance some amazing choreography from some amazing people. This year I've lucked out and I got the remarkable and fabulous Jenny Stevenson, the very talented and amazing Paul James, and I get Novocaine by Shane McKeever, and man, amazingly written dance. So yeah. Tim just says, I can neither confirm nor deny my choices. As Amy just listed some of Darren's in the Bayou and gave me a girl on top of Reason to Live. Mark and Chris, another great year. Debbie Rushton with Vibe Check, possibly one of the best dances that's come out this year alone. Huge hit coming out of Marathon back in June. So, yeah, good luck. Good luck. International Instructor of the Year. Whoo! This one's a doozy. This one's a doozy because this one encompasses a lot. This one encompasses a lot of area. Big Jim just says, Tim, I have a bag of Oreos in exchange for your voting history. I love it. Stott said Vibe Check is insane. Yeah. But International Instructor of the Year, people who can't win it: Peter Metelnick, Joe Thompson-Mansky, Rhea Voss, Madison Glover, and Gary O'Reilly. So don't write in any of those names. It's just not going to do anybody any good. But just the list of the international instructors that have had great years. This is a who's list of people. Trying to limit it down to 3, considering you have every other area but the UK to cover. You got Australia, Netherlands, the US, Canada, France, Malaysia, Denmark. This is nuts. This is just nuts. And then when we get into choreographer of the year, people who can't win into course, Joe, Peter, Rhea, Madison, Gary. Again, let's look at some of the dances that have been done this year alone. Okay. Come on now. It's just been nuts. How do you determine it? Again, I always personally try to vote when it comes to the constructor and choreographer, especially choreographers. I look at what they've done. It drives me insane. Drives me insane, guys. And I know I brought this up on the shows before. When you have a list of people up for choreography of the year, none of their dances are on the short list. Drives me nuts. How are they the best choreographers of the year if their dances aren't the ones getting voted for? That drives me nuts. So I like it when it matches. It makes sense. So, as Amy says, Maddie's had an incredible year, able to win or not. She's been amazing. Yeah, absolutely. That's the only time I don't I don't get upset about that. If you got the dance categories full of people who aren't eligible to win it, but are they, the people not eligible to win it, the only ones not, I guess, are the only ones putting out great dances that we're voting for? Maybe that then we need to look at the awards, because if that's the case, I understand the dances are dances and the people are people, but if all we're doing is voting for the same dances by the same choreographers, why do we have a choreographer's vote if the choreographers we truly want to win aren't eligible? So next we got digital service, formerly known as digital platforms. They need a one-hit wonder category just for fun. Why? Just out of curiosity, Todd, why? Because we don't know if it's going to be a one-hit wonder. You know what I mean? You never know it's going to be a one-hit wonder. You never know if that choreographer's not going to write anything good again. Unless it's a dance from 20 years ago. And that was the only thing someone wrote, and it's a dance that's standing the test of time. We won't know for 10, 15 years whether or not that person's ever going to not be a one-hit wonder. Right, but like music, you don't know at the time. We won't know until 5, 10 years down the road. Someone can have one amazing songs. Right, but we didn't know at the time when Ice Ice Baby was released that was the only hit Vanilla Ice was ever going to make. That was worth it. Yes, would need to be exactly that. So we could go that. I know they had the classics, and they do the classic dances and the older dance categories now, which is why that category came around to get the older dances to get voted on again. Vintage and classic and all those different categories. This one's a tough category for me to talk about. Yes, guys, I know we're nominated, or we're up on the list of people to get nominated. We made the short list last year. Shout out to everyone who voted for us. I have trouble with this category though, because I know they switched the name to services. I don't know. Some of it, I guess I'm curious of what we're considering digital is anything on a computer. People who can't win though, Jennifer Chushu Shin. I'm sorry, I probably butchered that, Jen. I know I do every time I try to say it. Jasmine Tan, Copper Knob, and Line Dance Radio. Line Dance Radio. They are not eligible. Please don't waste your write-in vote on that, guys. uh, doesn't help at all. Just as a vote bet he's going to have to throw out. Some YouTube channels listed here, some Facebook groups, World DJ playlist is listed on there, DJ feed, of course, us, World Line Dance newsletter. You get your one right in. So, yeah, there's the digital services. Rising Star, the other hot topic. This one's a toughie. This one is a toughie, I think. This award is to encourage and recognize up and coming talents to show future potential. It may not be presented every year, but your suggestions for considerations are always welcome. So we have a nomination. Once again, we don't know if we're going to get to vote on it. Last year, we didn't get to vote on it. We put in a nomination. They took it from there. If there's an individual, a duo, or a group who you think deserve a Rising Star nomination, enter details in the box provided. Previous winners: Paul McAdam, Kate Sala, Neville Fitzgerald, Dave Baycroft, Pat Stott, Kim Ray, Dee Musk, Craig Bennett, Blair Morgan. Jamie Barnfield won the Star Award. We all remember that year. Chris and Mark, and then Mr. Lee Hamilton. I have a hard time with this one because there's a word here that makes me curious of it. Encourage and recognize up-and-coming talents who show future potential. So that's a hard one. Dave, Todd said, are these mostly UK or US? Don't know a lot of these. Every one of these are from over in the UK. Dave Baycroft, of course, Big Dave. Most of these are choreographers. Of course, Mark and Chris, Lee Hamilton, the amazing Blair Morgan, Jamie, going back to when Kate Sala, Paul McAdam, who, for those who don't know, Paul McAdam, one of the original masters in line, along with Mr. Fowler, Rachel, and Pedro. So, to encourage and recognize up-and-coming talents who show future potential. So, does this mean people who aren't already touring, teaching at major events, having dances danced everywhere, having dances that are in the top of the charts, stuff like that? Because that's a tough one. Mr. Jocks just said, this is one where multiple writing nominations would be very helpful. Too many options. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Giving only one here is very, very rough. I feel, especially because of what it says it's supposed to be. Because you have a tons of names on those that didn't make the list of the people that were suggested for choreographer or instructor of the year that probably are already well known and not up and coming. As Todd said, very broad, not like rookie of the year. Right. Like, I know Aurora just said Rising Star Jason Aben. See, in my opinion, Jason is one of the ones that exactly fit that description. Up-and-coming talents who show future potential. Jason coming off the USLDCC win. He came off the the Sunshine and Line win. So, I don't know how to answer this. Alexis just said, I left this one blank because quite simply there's not enough info on what it entails. I saw a list of someone's nominations, and to me, half of them were already big names, so I left it empty. That's the hard part. Where do we draw the line? that's, like, when do we draw that line? Are they already getting picked to, teach everywhere? Are they already contracted to teach everywhere? Are their dances already all over the place? I wouldn't consider those up and coming talents then. So, as Aurora says, it's so rough to choose. I'm biased and pick my friends that's close to me. Oh, I get it. I 100% understand. Mo says, welcome to the show, Mo. I took this as someone who's in the scene and they are working their way up to become future headliners for events. That's a great way. But my question on that is, and this one, everyone can take it, define headliner. Because with the amount of instructors anymore at events, how many are we considering on that list a headliner? Where do we draw the line, and why do we still draw the line? When we send in our registration, at least not on our circuit, I know on Country Swing and stuff like that, I know they have it where you get every different instructor has a discount code. We're not writing in why we're coming to the event. We're not listing one instructor why we're coming to the event. Like my wife says, who's considered a big name? Because my big names could be different than someone else's. I think never nominated for another Crystal Boot before. Well, that throws out. The problem is last year, year before, Kim Ray won it one of the Dance of the Year categories when the year she won it. That's the problem. If you look at the past on how it's done, it's a really hard category. It is a really hard category. I do feel, though, if we're going to see a bunch of nominations come in, I do think I didn't like last year where they just picked someone. I think we need to vote. I do think we should be allowed to vote on it. Give us the option of the short list and let everyone vote on it. I definitely think that would be a good one. Chris realizes I voted for someone who already has a boot. I stand by it. I do it again based off the history of the award, but damn, it's tough to nail down the essence of the award. Agreed. Yeah, Amy says Lee won with drinking again when he won Rising Star. So there you go. And I thought that was the case when I was there last year. Most of that's fair. Think of it as like your big name instructors as John, Joe, Fred, Darren, and etc. Yeah, those are definitely headlining names. The problem is, depending on the event, you can have some of the people who aren't in that top list be headliners for that event they're on. And that's a tough one. Now, as you see here, guys, in the bottom of this Rising Star, it says previous and it says submit. If you hit submit, you don't get to go back. It takes you to a thing, says thank you for voting. If you wait here, blah, 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 I'll redirect you to 7 Arrow Media's page if you want to buy an early bird pass. This is where you hit to go back if you've left something blank and want to think. But once you hit that submit button, guys, you cannot go back. Vanessa says, if you only need to use their first name, everyone knows who you're talking about. That would be a big name in my opinion. That's one way of looking at it. Britt says, yes, but you can win a first boot and be a Rising Star in the same year. Yeah, I meant not previously nominated. Lots of those names were nominated before. That's the thing. They just didn't win. I'll almost guarantee you whoever ends up nominated for this will either be nominated or in the running to win a boot this year. Almost guarantee it, judging by just the history of how this has happened. I'd be gladly shocked if it's not, Be gladly shocked if it's someone coming fresh on the scene. I still think it's an injustice. Like, there are some great dances that never end up getting nominated by some great instructors that never made the short list. And who's to say they're not big? They're not big names. They're not on demand. But just because they've never made the short list for a boot doesn't mean they're not already a big name. There's tons of people. Guys, Guyton Mundy only has one Crystal Boot Award. One. We can go on and on about the lack of crystal boots. That doesn't make someone a big name. That's just big. You can go on a big list of big names that don't have boots, that are still massive names and big names in our industry. That doesn't make them a rising star at all. So to answer Paul's question, Paul, those are the people categories. Those are the people categories for the Crystal Boot. You have until Sunday night, November 17th, 11:59 p.m. UK time, to get your nominations in. Then Betty will take all those nominations, create the short list, and then when she does her radio show with Mr. Dave Morgan, releasing the short list for these as well as the dances. So Todd said, yes, I'm sure many take a few years of nominations before they win another win on first opportunity, like most award shows. Right. So you have tons of people out there that never won a boot. That doesn't necessarily make them a rising star in it still, 5-6 years later. Been nominated, top of their game, just because they didn't win a boot. So that's what makes that one tough. Yeah. My wife just said it's based on UK time. Don't message the page saying it doesn't work and it's after midnight in the UK. 5-hour time difference for the East Coast guys. So if you're in the US, 11:59 is 6:59 p.m. Here in Central and Alabama, up the middle, Chicago and stuff like that, we're an hour behind. So it's 5:59 for us. Then, of course, 4:59 for next time zone and 3:59 out in California. So just before 4 o'clock Sunday afternoon for all you people out west. Last day to get your nominations in. So make sure to do that. So, huge thank you guys for everyone who answered the question on Tuesday of some of the topics you want to talk about, you want to see on the show. I reached out and asked that, seeing what y'all want us to talk about. Some people said they want some interviews back. Some people want some topics, and boy, did they have some good one. Oh, yes, is that a dog? Yes, my dog is in the background, and so is our cat somewhere. They like to live in my office with me during the day when I'm in here working and streaming and doing stuff on the computer. So usually our dog and our cat are behind us. And if I close the door and lock her out, she just goes absolutely nuts because she wants to be in here laying down on the carpet. So I have the door open for her to be behind us. As Amy says, love the interviews. Thank you. So yeah, definitely bringing some topics back. I'm going to pull up. Where did that post go? Because there were some good ones on there. Of course, now. I know someone said they want to talk about technique, which that could be a fun one. Post, here we go. Ooh. Aurora, you had a good one. I really liked yours. How to start a dance event. What insurance do you need? Licensing to hire staff. All the frequently asked questions about event management and planning. Like the choreographer sit downs you've done as well. I love those. I love my topic shows where I get 2 to 3 different personalities on here to do a live chat on a topic. Those are probably my favorite, especially when the topic is good and juicy. Those are definitely the ones I love doing the most. What it takes to be a good DJ. It's a good one. I definitely have to get some really good DJs on here, like JB Potter, Big Dave, Joe Babinick, Ryan Hunt, just to name a few. The next one I know has been talked about, at least among some of us. Why is there no line dance award or foundation in the U.S.? I know the Line Dance Foundation part helps a bunch of people in the U.S. So there's that, but the Line Dance Award in the U.S. So if we go back in history, Doug and Jackie did have one for a couple years. We won't get into talking about that awards because there were some things that made absolutely no sense to me in that award. How that system worked. So I know some of us people have talked about. I have yet to see an interview or discussion with you. I've had Big Dave was on. I've had Big Dave on a couple times, Aurora. I know at least once he did a topic show with Trevor and Tim and I. JP was on my very first interviews. He was the very first week I did it. He was in episode number 3. So if you go back on the YouTube channel, he was on there. I know I did Michelle Reesley. Dave, I think I had Dave on twice as far as DJ goes. Yeah, I know I had a couple on during COVID when I did the show. So they're the earlier episodes for sure. So they're still up on our YouTube channel for sure if you go back in the history of our videos. So the Line Star, I think you meant the Lone Star State Awards. Yeah, you have a state awards, but again, that's just for the state of Texas. Vanessa says it's hard enough to get Americans and Canadians to vote on already well-known CBAs. I could imagine trying to get another one. See, this is the thing. And I'm going to pull this up here if I can get it back up here on the screen. Because this is the one I always find funny. And I want to see how close it is now. Because I used to bring this up on my radio show. And I know I brought it up on the talk show before. This is where it's fun. This is where it's funny. So I'm going to pull back. Let's get the website back up. Of course. Hold on. I got to adjust where my camera is on this for you can see this. I'm going to move me over to the right side here just for a hot second. That way you can see on the screen. So I'm logged in on my Line Dancer. That way you can see. And this is current votes. This is current votes right now on Line Dancer web. And we get the votes. Now, are they as high a number as the UK? No. But first time I blink ever, Canada is above US in voting. We're usually in the top 3 in number of votes. All course behind the UK, and yeah, it's always going to be the UK is going to dominate when it comes to voting. They just vote. Canada right now is sitting in second in most votes on the website. US in third, France in fourth, Ireland in fifth, which that's really high for Ireland. I remember back when I was first doing this, we did not get the votes in Ireland. Sweden, Norway, Sweden, Germany, rolling down. Australia is up there. Usually Australia was down below. So, followed up Denmark at the bottom, New Zealand at the bottom. So, we vote. We get the votes. We are voting. Are we voting anywhere near as many as other countries like the UK? No. But Canada has over 1,300 votes in right now. U.S. has over 1,000. So they're voting, just not nowhere near as much as England. So, and Vanessa, you're right. We don't vote as much as everybody else, but I'd be curious if it was a U.S.-based one and there was U.S. categories, if people would vote more. I would be 100% curious of that, to be quite honest, because that would be interesting. That would definitely be interesting to see if that would get more votes. So yeah. Okay, let's see. What else was the top? So some show topics people talked about. AI music for line dances and AI writing, line dance robots. I don't even know if I want to touch that. Another one, loved the interviews with choreographers. Trish Dawson said technique basics, balance, and how to look effortless. Lots of line dancers I know, including myself, don't have any formal training. I know a lot of people have been trying to get more technique classes and in events. I love the idea. I absolutely think it's brilliant. Learn how to move your body without steps. You know, being from a trained dancer's background, from couples background, that was very key. Learning how to properly move, let alone do steps. Caroline had a good one on here. She goes, I actually want to talk about how amazing our community is. I've been in lots of dance communities over the years, and this is one that I've witnessed family. I leave for 6 years. I come back to family. I want to hear examples of other people's experience of this, why they think that is, and if you want to add balance, what they believe could jeopardize a community. That's a good point. That's I know everyone has their good stories and their bad stories about everything, about community they're in, about the dance world and everything like that. I like to hear both the good and the bad. How can we get better? How can we improve? How can it be more stable and welcoming? Mo just says, he used the B word. I know in the U.S. there's a lot of bar dancing. And I remember Jonathan mentioned that bar dancing is not a thing in the UK. That is true. And a lot of U.S. dancers aren't aware of the whole voting thing. You think that's a big factor is why we don't have more people voting? To be fair, I don't think they care. Comparatively, I said this during COVID. If COVID got rid of dance events for the world, line dancing wouldn't die because of country bars, at least here in the United States. And I feel like, and this is where it gets the tricky part. And I know lots of people share my feelings on this. I get that people are supposed to be having fun. I get people are supposed to be the new breed, but learn the history. The fact that people don't know who other people are, when they go to look up stuff is bad. the fact that we still have, and Mo, you know this better than anybody, 47 dances still coming out to the same songs that already have hit dances. That just shows people just don't do the research, don't look it up. I find it hysterically funny when I see people who say, "Oh, I don't know what copper knob is. I don't know how to use it, but I can search their name and they have a step sheet on copper knob." Yeah, I've actually had that happen, where someone says, "I don't know how to use copper knob," but yet they have a step sheet on copper knob. Or they'll post something and say, "Oh, I just use copper knob to look at the step sheet." Well, I thought you didn't know how to use copper knob to search. So I think it's more of a care factor. They just don't care. As Todd says, TikTok culture. They don't care. Great. And I think that's where it comes down to. It's the same reason why you still see choreographers right on top of each other. Yes, sometimes it does happen by mistake, but then there's sometimes it's just people like, screw it, I don't care, I'm still writing. And I've witnessed people say that. It's, like I said, lack of knowledge is insane. You're absolutely right. I think it comes down to, do the people in the bars, and I know I've had conversations with tons of people on both sides, do the people in the bars want to get better? Or are they just happy showing up and dancing in bars? Do they want to see everything involved? Country bars aren't the same. There's some country bars you can go into and be like, "Oh yeah, this is a great vibe." There's other country bars you're like, "Yeah, this is not for me." It's the same thing with events. The question is, do people want to see the evolution and the change and want to get better? I had this discussion with someone running high dance competitions in bars. A lot of their dancers got mad because they didn't make finals, and it's because they couldn't follow the rules. And this goes on both sides. When you're given a rule to follow rules, where it says the first two walls have to be vanilla, I don't care if you're the best dancer in the room. If you can't do the dance, why are you doing it? It's that simple. And that's the problem. They just want a thing, like it says, bar dancers lately just want to video themselves for the views. That's exactly what it is. Amy said, "This is one of my biggest pet peeves. I search LD Web and copper knob before I choreograph my AV dance." You're absolutely right. And Aurora says that now with AI, people that don't know how anything can use the AI to write line dances for them. Yeah. And that's the thing. If you want to get better and want to evolve and want to go and they want to see a thing, bar dancers don't need to have the title of a bar dancer. They're dancers, plain and simple. They still dance. I know some bar dancers that are way better, that dance in bars that are way better than some dancers that go to events, and vice versa. They're dancers, period. End of discussion. No matter if you dance in a bar, in a classroom, in a rec room, at a major event, in a competition, dancer's dancer. It all depends on how much effort you want to put into it and what kind of environment you want around you, is what it straight up comes down to. If you're happy with just showing up at a bar to dance, fine. To show up at a bar to dance. If you like going to events, go to events and dance. It's that simple. It is straight up that simple. But it's and back to Mo's question, it's the fact that so many people just don't care. I see it all the time. You can probably look at Copper Knob's brand newest dances right now and see dances written to songs. And while I'm speaking of that, why do we have 5 or 6 different songs in the top, 5 or 6 different dances to the same song in the top 100 right now? On a completely side note, that one baffles me. I was looking at something, adding something to Copper Knob the other day, and we have 10 or so dances. I think there was 7 in the top 100 to the same track. And that just baffles me. Hold on. Where is it? Scroll down. Get off the ad. All right, I'm on new dances. I'm curious. New dances. If I see anyone. As I'm scrolling through. Because I know I saw another one to Shivers, I think last week. Another one to Infectious. I'm like, really? Another one to Witch Doctor. I know we have tons of dances to that from back in the day. Oh, there it is. I knew I saw one. Marvin Gaye. Featured by Charlie Puth. Do dance to that. As Todd says, people go where they feel most comfortable, big circuit event or some small moose lodge or local bar free-for-all. Yeah, as Kelly said, most bars you have to pay a cover now. It depends on what time. As Todd says, not Northern Virginia. You're right. Some bars do, some bars don't. And having a conversation about this, why you see so many people in the bar comps, so many people in the bar doing the bar dances, money. It's way cheaper. If you look at the crowd, look, they're getting it's younger. It's a lot younger crowd, and they don't want to spend the money. They look at the price tag of a big dance event, and they don't want to pay it. So I think that also hugely comes into play. Money. So oh, another dance to Neon Moon. So yeah, we still got people writing dances on things. So that's where I get to the point where the whole carrying part. You know, if they would do that, obviously they know how to use Copper Knob. They have their dances on Copper Knob. So obviously they know how to use the function. Same thing if it's on Line Dancer. They can search Line Dancer. It's that simple. Now, granted, there is more dances on Copper Knob than Line Dancer because people forget to put their dances on Line Dancer a lot. And I always say, guys, put your dances on Line Dancer. That's where the votes come. If you want a boot, if you want even a sliver of a chance of a boot, submit your dances. Mr. Bray will get them up. I promise you that. So, Todd says, Cancun Indian Hill Country Barbecue are the only covers. Everywhere else is pretty much free. Yeah, it all depends on the area. You know, it's a big hit or miss. Big hit or miss. Aurora said, but DJs in the bars mostly also won't play circuit dance in the bars, so peeps never get to see more advanced dances. Yeah, I heard that's a Cali thing. Like, I know some bars will. Come to Florida, the barn plays pretty much almost any circuit dance. Cowboys is the same way. Cowboys will play. I know they have a list of songs that aren't allowed to be played. If you saw that list, it's kind of funny. It just how it is. But lots of circuit dances get played in the bars at least in Florida. I know Trevor teaches a lot of them. Cowboys dancers, they'll line there down to Roundup, down in Davie, Florida. Tons of dance going on there. But the thing is, if you listen to the songs, this is what baffles me about this one. If you listen to the songs they play in the country bars, they are no different than the event dances songs. I get the slower ones. I understand why we don't see the waltzes in the nightclubs. 100% understand that. and some of the non-country tracks, some of them. But if you listen to some of the songs they play now, there's no reason why they can't be playing the other stuff at all. I know this for a fact because when I was in the ranch, when I was out in California right at the end of COVID at the ranch, they taught my dance Little Bit by Nelly featuring Florida Georgia Line at the ranch the night I just happened to be surprising everybody and got to the ranch right after the lessons. But they will play trending TikTok. Right, that's my point. They'll play the craziest trending TikTok dances, but they won't play thing. Amy says, we do have fun, go mad at Mishnock Barn. From what I heard, though, that's a hard one, Amy, because Mishnock is a different beast from what I've been told. So I'm sure you're going to get, especially being ran by Dan and Kelly, you're going to get a lot more of the stuff out there that is going to be done. So, I just realized we've already been on over an hour. Where did the time go? Man, it felt good to be back. Hope you guys enjoyed. Todd says you're a little bit as the best version. Thanks, brother. Thank you for that. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed having me back. Once again, bring it up. Early bird passes are on sale, just £23. CBA4LDF, the virtual streaming pass. Get your early bird. Again, you have until this Sunday to make your nominations for the people categories. 11:59 p.m. UK time this Sunday, November 17th is when those will end. Kelly and I will be making the trip over once again to Blackpool, headed to the Norbrook to do all the live streaming there and social media. Going to be a fun time. Please vote, as Kelly says. Please do your nominations in. So yeah, but yeah, we are going to try to get more of a schedule down to do this more on a weekly basis, guys. I home now for the most part until middle of January when I go to Derby City Swing up in Louisville, Kentucky. A week before the Boots, my buddy Brian Barakowskis runs a massive West Coast swing event up in Louisville every January. Go right from there to the Boots. We're making a trip. We actually leave tomorrow. I'm going to go down to meet little baby Brody, Trevor and Bree. My best friend Trevor Thornton, his lovely wife Bree, had their baby back in September. So finally get to meet Brody. We're driving down after Kelly gets off work tomorrow for the weekend for the Friendsgiving Fest down there. Then in December, I'm headed to Nashville, Tennessee again. Kelly and I will be judging for Mr. George Blick once again at the Nashville Palace. I will be coming back. Man, I love Nashville. I love getting to go to Nashville. One of my favorite cities in the entire United States. And I'll be back there judging and teaching for him. So trying to make this a weekly basis. I'm not sure what day I'm going to pick yet, Wednesday or Thursday. Wednesday worked out better this week because, of course, we're leaving tomorrow afternoon. So I'll announce that at the beginning of the week of what day it's going to be and for next week. But go make your nominations. Get your early bird pass. Check out Musicality U. And until next time, guys, see ya.